You discovered your passion for music through dance. What was that transition like? What did you learn from dance that you've been able to apply to your music career?
Yeah, so I started dancing when I was 7 years old, and I did like jazz, tap, ballet, hip hop, lyrical, contemporary, like everything. And I competed around Dallas, Texas. So I think for me, like just transitioning from that into music, or being an artist, I think music is just the sole root of it all. Whether that's like producing, songwriting, dancing, any of that stuff. I think it just all comes back to my passion for music. And yeah, and it's really cool because like even for me competing, I think I learned a lot from being on stage that way, and also learning like a lesson that I learned from dance is just like there's so much hard work that goes into dance, and so I think that really helped me even like with performing, my songs on stage and stuff, and learning how to interact with the audience and stuff. Like I just think that's helped a lot there, and also with even like emotion, everything like that. So dance has really helped a lot.
You got started in this industry at a really young age and grew up in the limelight. How were you able to remain grounded, and how has that prepared you for this next chapter in your career?
Honestly, I think it's just been just like family and friends. Really, that's what's really kept me grounded. Because I mean, my it's funny because my dad, he's like really hard on me, but he also lets me know and tells me like, hey, this was really good. Good job on this. But then also like even when I was in Kids Bop and performing there, we did like 162 shows in 48 states and got a lot of good experience on stage and stuff. And so done with the show, and he'd be like, that was an amazing job, but don't forget to look up at the balcony or things like that. So just my family's been really good with, giving me praise, but also letting me know on certain things, and same with friends. Like I'm really picky about who I surround myself with. And, I just like to surround myself with, genuine people and, people who share similar, likes and everything like that. So I think that's, yeah.
That might be the answer to this next question, but when you look at your career as a whole, who or what's had the biggest influence, either personally or professionally?
Yeah. I think like when it comes to music, my biggest like inspiration from music was like Adele. And she's always been like from day one, I've always just like loved her voice, loved her music. And I actually started playing, I taught myself how to play piano off YouTube, and all of the songs I played were all Adele songs and everything. And so I really think she's changed my life, just because it's like she's what got me into music and to love music and, everything like that. But yeah, that's probably the person in my life that's inspired me.
And you're also an artist who does it all, from writing to producing to recording the music. Is that ever a challenge to kind of manage all of those different facets? And when did you realize that you wanted to have a hand in all of it?
Definitely. Yeah. It could totally be a lot, because like, it can also be very frustrating when there's like, I'll see other artists that, they'll have their producer doing it, and maybe they'll go in and write like 10 different songs with all different producers and stuff. So each producer can knock out the song and get it out and have everything bundled together to put out really quick. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this takes so much, like me doing it myself and everything. It like, especially when I'm super picky on stuff, it takes so much more time, And, but at the same time, I wouldn't change anything about that, just because it's like, a reason why I wanted to get into it and start, putting my hands on the project a little bit and really doing it myself is because when I was younger, maybe like 13 or so, that's when I started going into sessions with, songwriters and producers and stuff. And I felt like I would always come out and be like, it's a good song, I really like it, but I don't feel like I'm 100%, connected to it, or, different things like that, especially as a kid, because it's like when you're in the studio with an adult, who's the producer and songwriter and stuff. And as a kid, you almost feel like, can I say I like this, or can I say don't like this? Or, you kind of feel awkward at times. So, again, with that, I wouldn't change anything about that, because it's taught me how to become, how to talk to other producers or songwriters and be like, I really like this thing about it, but can we switch this part here, So that's kind of why I started, getting more into writing and producing and stuff, just because I'd go home and be like, I want to try this idea out and I want to kind of build this out on production wise, things like that. And it's just evolved to what it is now.
And you're also an artist that incorporates a lot of visuals into your craft, from various music videos, lyric videos. As you're working on a new song, are ideas already flying in your head about what visual component you're going to add to it?
Totally. Visuals are like huge thing for me. Like I'm a huge fan of visuals. So, yeah, it's always funny because the first day that, or really night, because I do really well at night when I'm producing. Like I'll be up until 4 or 5 in the morning, producing. But it's always funny because that first time that I lay the whole track out and everything and get the idea, in Logic and everything, I'm like, I'll replay it like 10 times over and just I'll stand up and dance in the room and I'll think of different ideas and visuals and stuff like that. So yeah, the visuals definitely help when it comes to, producing and thinking about that.
Yeah, and you've dropped a couple of singles already in 2020. If you had to pick one that best encompasses who you are as an artist, what would it be and why?
That's a hard question. I dropped a few, so I'm like, it's hard because it's like they're all your babies, so you're trying to figure out which one. I'm really proud of like the production on 18 that I just released, and I think it's cool because it has the upbeat side to it, but it also has dark pop side to it, which is what I've always loved. But then again, there's like ones like As It Should that kind of goes back to my roots of sitting down at a piano, playing a ballad, that kind of thing, and it kind of shows like the emotion in my voice and good message throughout it. So I don't know. I'd just sum that all up. I think that would encompass like all like my artistry, everything together. I think would be the new song coming out on the EP, which is called Color Me Blue. Just because it has, in the beginning, the ballad side to it and the softness to it. But then in the chorus, it, hits hard and has that dark pop kind of side to it as well. So it kind of like brings it all together in one, So I have to say Color Me Blue.
Speaking of the EP, you're getting ready to release that next week. What can fans expect, and what do you hope to say with this body of work?
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited for it to come out. I mean, it's been something that for the last like 2 or 3 years, I've just been trying to find like my sound and what exactly I want to say and what, visuals and my branding, all that kind of stuff. So I'm so excited for it to come out. And on the EP, there's 9 songs, which is not typically an EP, but it's typically more like an album, really. But I'm calling it an EP just because I feel like all those songs really fit together, and all together they wrap into like one, perfect bow and everything for me. So there's going to be 2 new songs off the EP called Color Me Blue, and then another one called Every Little Thing. And with the EP, I think my messages is just like, each song is, really different. As It Should is about, letting things be. If it were to happen, it would have happened kind of thing. And then there's also ones like Sorry for the Honesty, which is kind of like a middle finger to the other person in a way, So it really ranges. But I think like for the EP, it's just about, experiences that I've gone through or, even watched with my friends or family, things like that. And just that relationships can sometimes be hard, but you can get through them, and there's positivity in that, And I mean, another really, really cool thing about, messages for albums or projects and things like that is that like I've noticed with songs that I've put out, I've said what they're about, but I'll get DMs from fans and stuff going, hey, this song has really inspired me to go audition for this play at my school. And I'll be like, really? But everybody has their own interpretation of what the song means to them. So I think that's just a super cool thing,
Love that. And then speaking of experiences, having been a part of this industry for a couple of years now, what's one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you started?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know. One thing now, I don't know. It's really hard because it's like I almost wouldn't change anything in a way, just because it's like your path, like on your path, you learn a lot of different things, and like even with failures and stuff, I could be like, oh, I wish I didn't make that failure there. But if I didn't make that failure there, I wouldn't learn what I know today, you know? So it's kind of like a thing I wouldn't really change anything because I've learned so much along the road, you know, and still can definitely learn a lot more.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And then this is going to be a strange question just given the time that we're living in right now. But after the EP drops, what does the rest of 2020 hold for you?
Yeah, well, definitely not going to be touring, but I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of live streams. You know, I'd love to do like YouTube videos on showing people how I produced the music, how I wrote it, you know, showing them a little bit, you know, more behind the project. Also, like, just writing new music is going to be really exciting for me because, you know, actually during this whole quarantine, is the time that I've been able to finish all this up. So I haven't really gotten to write new music and all that stuff. And there's definitely lots of new inspiration. And even with the times we're going through, like new things to write about and, you know, everything like that. So I'm really excited to start writing again. Also excited to just be 18 and be a kid for a little bit, you know, and still, hang out with friends or, you know, different things like that and just live life also, you know.
And then we just like to end all of our interviews with a pop culture speed round. Is there a band or artist that fans would be surprised to learn is on your playlist?
I'll say Adele to that one. Because it's very funny because a lot of people don't think that I would be inspired by Adele and stuff because like all my stuff is, you know, more pop and all this stuff. Yeah, so I'd say Adele.
What was the first album you either bought or streamed?
Adele 25. Gosh, I'm like, people are going to be like, dang, he really likes Adele now. Yeah, 20.
What about the first concert you ever attended?
I think it was Taylor Swift Red Tour, like the AT&T Stadium in Texas.
That's a good one. What about an album that changed your life and why?
Everybody knows what I'm going to say. Adele 25. Why? Well, like I said earlier, it's just like she's the person who got me to like really love music and fall in love with music and her voice and the emotion that she just like, it just goes out of the speakers and right into you, you know? So she's just really inspired me with music.
What about a venue that's on your bucket list to perform at?
I'd say like Red Rocks would be really cool. Because like I said earlier, I toured and did 162 shows and everything, but like we never got to perform at Red Rocks, and I was like, that would be a really cool place. Or Coachella would be really cool.
And then final question for you: what's a must-have when you're on the road?
Definitely my laptop and a mic. Because if I mean, I've done it like how you have your earbuds right there with that mic. I've tried that. It works a little bit, but I definitely need like a mic on the road and my laptop to produce and kind of lay down some ideas and stuff. So yeah.